Hi guys, what is up? This is Postdoc Chronicles week number 121. And today, before we go to the Postdoc, I'm featuring, instead of a video game, a novel I'm reading right now, Brandon Sanderson's Rhythm of War. This is book 4 of the Stormlight Archive series, which is currently my favorite fantasy series of all time. I've encountered Brandon Sanderson earlier, like 2016, when I was attempting to read The Wheel of Time. He was the guy who was asked when Robert Jordan died. Robert Jordan's also a physicist, but he went on to become a full-time writer. I believe he was an undergrad in physics. He died, unfortunately, before he finished the book. Brandon Sanderson was the one who was tasked to finish that epic series. And then, but I also read from my first encounter of Brandon Sanderson was his awesome Mistborn series. Currently, it has like three books in the old era, and then in the Wax and Wayne series, it has I believe three as well. Yes, and then it only lacks one, a Lost Metal. I've also read everything from there. But then he also had like some standalone novels such as Elantris, Warbreaker. He also has a graphic novel called White Sand, and basically these stories revolve in this universe he calls a Cosmere, and then he wants, eventually his plan is, an epic crossover among all of these universes, which is so awesome. You can already see, if you've read like Warbreaker, and then spoiler alert, if you've read Words of Radiance, then you can see some of the crossover action happening. But anyway, this particular novel, I began reading actually around this time last year, December, when I went for a Christmas vacation, in 2019. Unfortunately, that Christmas vacation I won't be able to do this year because of the COVID situation. The visa was just opened in South Africa to renew the visa is October 2020, and it usually takes more than 3 months in here, at least from my experience, to renew the visa. So I applied October 2020. Until now, I still don't have it. So if I like go back to the Philippines now, I don't have a visa going back. My contract here will still be until May 2021. So I just thought, it would be better to just, wait until May 2021 when I will go back to the Philippines for good. But anyway, yeah. So going back, I began reading the first book, The Way of Kings, December 2019, and then before, man, I like majority of my December, or my holiday 2019 was spent reading Brandon Sanderson. I finished The Way of Kings right away, and then before diving into book 2, I read Elantris, I read Warbreaker, most of his standalone novels, and some of the works from his Arcanum Unbounded, a group of novella that revolves around the Cosmere, for example, Emperor Souls and stuff like that. And then I also was able to, like early this year, I was able to finish Words of Radiance, and then Oathbringer. I could finish it, right away, but I tried to pace myself because I knew that this book, The Rhythm of War, was coming out late this year. It actually came out on November, last month. So I read Oathbringer within 2020. Like I alternated it with The Witcher. I'm also reading the Witcher series. I'm now in a book 5 out of, I think, 7 books. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna like hold off finishing that. I'm gonna go Rhythm of War first, but we'll see. Or maybe I can alternate again. But anyway, the Stormlight Archive is one epic fantasy series. The entire 3 books, like my basically my introduction to fantasy is Harry Potter. Like everyone knows Harry Potter. Like that was like a big thing when I was in high school. That's also when they were like making the movies. But basically, I've read the entire 7 books of Harry Potter. The entire 7 books of Harry Potter. The first 3 books of the Stormlight Archive is longer. That's how dense this is. But man, the world building, the magic system of Brandon Sanderson. That's why I love him. It's very similar to, sci-fi in a sense that there's like a specific rule set. It's not a soft magic system where, the magic that just comes out of nowhere. And so sometimes I think of Brandon Sanderson being an author as a like he uses the logic and the internal consistency of science fiction in a fantasy universe. That's what I love about Brandon Sanderson. So very cool stuff. I believe he does some young adult things as well. But yeah, so right now I'm not actually reading yet the Rhythm of War, because before this also he released November 2020 was a novella that is set after the events of book 3, which is Oathbringer. So again, book 1 was The Way of Kings, book 2 is Words of Radiance. After book 2, before you jump into book 3, Oathbringer, there's this novella called Edge Dancer, which is the story of one of the Radiance Lift. The Edge Dancer, and then book the novella Dawn Shard, which is before this, is revolves around this character known as Ryzen, which is she's a merchant, which she has also a very nice backstory. She has this like little pet or like that looks like a dragon called Chiri Chiri, but that's where we left her, I believe, in Oathbringer. And then she's gonna be the focus of Dawn Shards, and then after that is Rhythm of War. So I'm so excited to read this. If you have any inkling, or if you're into fantasy, you're probably reading already Stormlight Archives, or you've probably already heard of Brandon Sanderson. But if not, give it some time. Like, I mean, it's really worth it. I'm not gonna spoil like anything like what it is about. You have to find it out for yourself, but it's an impressive fantasy novel that should be read by any fan of the genre. But anyway, let's go to the postdoc. That's a very nice. That's a very a very long fanboying into the Stormlight Archive series. But for the postdoc, last week we talked about the because this thing I'm doing my qualification task in Atlas, and early next year, like at least in the very first quarter, I should be done with my qualification task, which I've been talking about before. The validation of the shower modes of Pythia, Dire, and Vincia. And the thing is, every year, the all the countries that are part of CERN, that are part of the Atlas collaboration, they pay an amount which when converted to Philippine peso is amounts to about around 7.3 million, so that you will be part of the collaboration. So you're like a full institute part of the collaboration. For example, South Africa, the university where I'm in right now, University of Witwatersrand, is part of that collaboration. A lot of schools in the first world universities in first world countries is part of the Atlas collaboration, but you do have to pay a 7.3 million pesos so that you become a full institute. Where does this money come from? Well, this money comes from maintaining the billion-dollar research facility, which is the Large Hadron Collider, located in Geneva, Switzerland. That's where the money comes. That's where the money they use to keep this facility running, so that we can continue investigating the fundamental nature or the fundamental constituents of the universe. So that's where it comes from. And other than that, once you become an Atlas author, the once I qualify as an Atlas author, my name will begin appearing in Atlas papers, and it will mean a lot for our University of the Philippines, and our country, Philippines in general, because what that means is once I finish my qualification task, once my name begins appearing on Atlas papers, that means our country becomes affiliated as well. Our country begins appearing in those publications, and I believe our university ranking, that will help in the university ranking with best Asian universities, or best world university, or stuff like that. Because Atlas, they publish like 50 to more than 100 papers a year, and so if our university in our country is affiliated with that, then by extension, it's like we are producing that amount of paper a year via my name. But the thing is, in order for my name to remain in there, the Atlas or CERN has this rule where once you are a qualified author, your country has to pay for you an amount which, when converted to Philippine peso, is around 500,000 pesos, so half a million. Okay, half a million per author. Once I am qualified in Atlas, should be paid. And again, I'm really worried, because like I don't know where to get this money. I'm still not. When I come back to the Philippines, hopefully June 2021, I'm still I'm still gonna begin acquiring funds and stuff like that. So I was worried that because Atlas CERN, they collect every September, and then the moment the collection begins, and then you did not pay, or no one paid for you as an author, then your name gets removed, and which is a waste, because I spent a year doing that qualification task, and then when I come back, once they collect, if we can pay, then it will all be for naught. But the nice thing is, my colleagues from the Philippines, so we had like a Zoom meeting with Deepak and my colleagues from the Philippines, and then they were really, I don't know, they told me, half a million is peanuts, half a million per year is peanuts. Personally, I wouldn't know, because like I said, I still have not tried acquiring funds for, hopefully I'll be doing that in the future, but I'm still in the process of starting my own lab. Like I said last time, I already advertised my upcoming lab. So far I have like 6 inquiries from MS students. All of them look good so far, so I think I'm gonna adapt these six guys. Two of them at least are magna cum laude, from different universities in the Philippines. Currently taking MS in UP Diliman. So when I come back, I'll have MS students. This other guy, Justin, when he finished his MS, he's also interested in pursuing a PhD under me. So there's that. But yeah, so I'll still be beginning the process of establishing a lab and requesting funding and all these things. And I was really afraid when I come back June and then going to September, I won't have enough time, to acquire that money, which is 500,000. But people in my colleagues in the Philippines are like, no, 500 million is like peanuts. Like let's take care of that. So the nice thing is they want to they're looking at it such that when I come back, it will already be part of the yearly procurement of some funds. I don't know if it's like from UP or the US or something, but it will be like a yearly thing that renews because I so that I won't be like having a problem of where to procure 500,000 per year to pay for my authorship, because the moment we can maintain that, if we pay 500,000 per year, and again, like I said, where does that money go? That money goes to maintaining the Large Hadron Collider. The moment we can maintain that, then we maintain the authorship of our country to the Atlas collaboration, to the CERN papers, which is very, very relevant in the improvement of a particle physics, high energy physics research in the Philippines in general. So once we can do that and it becomes a yearly thing, then it won't be a problem. So we had that meeting with Deepak, and since of course it's almost the holidays, we're going to kickstart the meeting again. So it's still early. It will still be January, and we're talking about September. So we're gonna meet again with the spokesperson of Atlas from CERN, which is Carl Jacobs, and then the head of the Atlas here in South Africa. Because two things could happen. One is that we become an independent institute, part of the Atlas collaboration, which is I'm looking at it. It's very improbable, because if usually if universities want to do that, they already have like a strong particle physics, high energy physics program happening in the country. So far, I'm the only one, and then if we want to be like a full member part of the Atlas collaboration, we pay 7.3 million, and then I'm still the member. So I think it would be nice if we still wait, I don't know, a few years down the line, and then maybe, I don't know, let's say my PhD student, let's say hopefully Justin will graduate and then he becomes, let's say, part of Atlas. Then at least there will be like a critical number of us, not just me, that is doing high energy physics in the Philippines before we go for that Atlas membership. The other option is that we become a sub institute of South Africa. So doing so, we won't be required to pay the 7.3 million, but again, we won't be part of like some political meetings in CERN. If there are like decisions that needs to be made, the collaborators need to vote, we won't be part of that, but still my name will still appear on the papers. Our university, our country will still appear as part of the affiliation, and then we'll only be paying the 500, the 500,000 yearly payment to Atlas collaboration, instead of the 7.34 membership. And then once we become a sub institute of South Africa, then we'll look at the possibility of becoming an independent member in the future. And in fact, that's what South Africa did initially. South Africa was they were not a full Atlas member right then and there. They were a sub institute to, I believe, Brookhaven, and then once they had the critical number, that's when they become an independent member. So I think that would be a nice way for Philippines, to enter CERN. I think entering CERN right when it's still me who is doing a particle physics. I mean, research related to like Atlas particle physics. I think it's very. How do you say this? It's very sudden. So, but anyway, yeah. And very quickly in my qualification task, I noticed that one of the observations they made when I made my last QT update is that the Dyer plots looks very similar to the Pythia default, and I just noticed in two of the events the samples I was looking at, because Giancarlo and the Pythia authors said that aside from looking at the switch, whether or not you set it from default to Dyer, look for a banner that says "Welcome to Dyer shower modes." If you don't see that, then maybe I'm still running the default. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. I looked at my log file. The banner file was not there. So for these particular events, I'm running again Dyer, and then once the run is done, I'll look at the logfile, make sure that the dire banner is present. But anyway, yeah, this has been Postdoc Chronicles week 121. So I'll check out now, because in around 1 hour we're gonna have a book club meeting with the University of Florida. I'll be giving It's my turn to give a talk on the West Zumino model, the simplest supersymmetry model of the superfields without interaction with themselves and with the standard model particles. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Postdoc Chronicles week number 121. By the way, usually 2018, 2019, usually around first week of December is my last Postdoc Chronicles. So we'll see. I think I still have some stuff to do this week. Like, I know that like Thursday we're gonna have a meeting with my collaborators regarding the MUED paper. So I think with that, if that moves on, I think the next postdoc chronicles will be my last for this year. I think, because like for example, Deepak, after this week, Deepak will be like taking a vacation somewhere within a different country in the African continent. He won't be like going out elsewhere because of the pandemic, but he'll be away. He'll be like incommunicado until like early January. So I think I'll do that as well, like take a break. So after postdoc after 122, maybe that will be my last before for 2020. But we'll see. If I still have to do something after that, then maybe I'll still do the report as well. But anyway, this is Postdoc Chronicles week number 121. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.